You smell that?
You stink of horse.
What's up guys, Trav White here. Welcome back to the channel where we cover the science of style and grooming. You guys already know. Like, subscribe, join the Facebook group Mannered Mains. In today's video, we're gonna be covering some reasons you might smell even when you think you don't and what you can do about it. Let's get into it. Here's what happens. According to research published in Science magazine, your nose can detect 1 trillion different smells, but it can't differentiate between all of them at once, obviously. But humans are prone to what scientists call olfactory fatigue. Basically, in super simple terms, once your nose smells something for long periods of time, it starts to filter out that odor and make room for new olfactory sensors to sense new or strange smells, like something that could potentially put you alert to dangerous situations, like something burning, or something that smells delicious, like coffee or freshly baked cookies, right? You might have unknowingly even seen this phenomenon before. For example, you spray cologne on yourself, right? It smells really, really good at first, and then as you go about your day, you stop smelling it on yourself. And yes, I know the notes break down, but sometimes you might think that it happens way faster than it should because you think the cologne sucks. But the reality is your nose just starts to filter out that smell. And then when someone walks past you, they might get a waft of what you're wearing and they might compliment your cologne or insult you based on how much you put on. But anyways, that's this olfactory fatigue phenomenon at play. This is the exact same for body odor, right? You might be able to smell it sometimes on yourself, but since you're right next to yourself all day, every day, your nose can start to ignore your own BO to pick up new smells. So yeah, you can potentially stink without even realizing it. Here are 5 grooming mistakes you might be making that make you smell worse. Before we jump into it, this video is sponsored by Native. Native makes aluminum-free deodorant, and I've been using them for a while now and have found that it's one of the only aluminum-free deodorants that actually helps to mask my BO all day long, whether I'm wearing it during the day or during a workout or even after a workout. And one thing that I love about them is that they're not super sticky. So oftentimes I'll put a stick deodorant on and I'll apply it and I can just feel like the stickiness in my armpits and it's really uncomfortable. And I haven't noticed that at all with Native, which is quite nice. They are vegan and cruelty free, which is cool. And the scents that they sent me out were charcoal, citrus and herbal musk, and the lavender and rose that I gave to my wife to use. So one thing that I really like about them is their transparency with ingredients. For example, they also offer body wash and whitening toothpaste. And on the back, they not only list the ingredients, but they also tell you why each ingredient is being used. And this is the type of thing that I love to see from brands because companies are not required to do this, right? You're just required to list out the ingredients, which can cause some companies to sneak in some questionable things that you might not know is good or bad for you without researching every single ingredient. So that extra step of just telling the consumer why each ingredient is in their products, it's just that extra effort that I love to see from brands. So normally 3 deodorants can run you 36 bucks from Native, but if you use my link in the description and the code TRAVWHITE, then you can get 33% off and basically get a 3-pack of deodorants for 24 bucks. So it's essentially buy 2, get 1 free. You can also get 20% off the body wash and the whitening toothpaste with the code TRAVWHITE as well. I'll leave a link in the description. Guys, go check out Native, they're awesome. So reason number 1 you might stink is because you have bad bacteria under your armpits. Did you know that we have more bacteria under our armpits than there are people on Earth? Chris Callowart, who has a master's in bioscience, engineering, and chemistry, is a researcher at Ghent University in Belgium and has published studies on body odor and armpits and the effect bacteria has under your arms and the effect deodorants and antiperspirants have on that bacteria. In his TED Talk, which I'll link to in the description, he explains that millions of bacteria live under our armpits, but there are predominantly 2 that hold the highest population. There's the good kind, known as Staphylococci, which doesn't make much of an odor, and then the bad kind, known as Corynebacterium. And this transformed lipids and amino acids from our sweat into compounds that have a really pungent odor, which basically is a bacteria that causes our bad BO. In fact, in the TED Talk, he discusses how he essentially did like a bacteria armpit transplant, which is crazy. He basically had two male identical twins, one with good BO, one with bad BO, and he took the good bacteria from one twin and moved it to the smelly twin and successfully reduced the amount of body odor the smelly twin had. He wasn't able to reproduce these results as well as they were on twins with just like regular people, so there's definitely some more research that needs to go into. But one interesting thing he has also found is how deodorants and antiperspirants play a key role in changing the microbiome under our armpits. Which, a quick note about the difference: deodorants mask the smell of body odor, and antiperspirants actually clog the sweat glands and prevent sweat from coming out, which is usually done with aluminum salts in antiperspirants. So according to one study Callowert published in 2014 in the Journal of Dermatological Research, he had 9 participants and in 28 days collected samples before, during, and after using deodorants and antiperspirants. And they found that the armpit microbiome changed considerably when starting and stopping the use of deodorants and antiperspirants. So what would happen was, when they measured how much bacteria was under their armpits before using any product, there is a wide range of good and bad bacteria, and then they would use a deodorant and an antiperspirant, and what they found was that that bacteria basically minimized significantly. But an interesting thing that they found was that antiperspirant usage led to an increase of bad odor producing bacteria once they stopped using any product. So in other words, when they stopped using deodorants and antiperspirants, they found that the antiperspirant users had more smelly bacteria living under their armpits, which is crazy because this study is basically claiming that once you stop antiperspirants, it can actually make your body odor worse. Whereas with deodorants, the amount of bacteria, yes, it decreases when applied, and when you stop using them and the bacteria comes back, it's still relatively balanced between the good and the bad bacteria, which is really interesting. Something about the aluminum salts, how they interact with the good and the bad bacteria. But there are some problems with this study. First, there were only 9 people. That's not a great sample size. Second, there was no control group, right? So you would have to have a control group of people who didn't apply anything that whole time to have something to compare it to. However, one thing the study did find was that both deodorants and antiperspirants significantly reduced the smelly bacteria when they were used consistently. One super interesting thing that I want to add on about native deodorants is that they have a probiotic bacteria. It's called Lactobacillus acidophilus, which is a lactic acid probiotic, aka a good bacteria. Now, I'm not sure how this affects the bacteria microbiome on your pits when applied. It could be possible that it helps to balance the smelly to good bacteria ratio. However, this is not evidence-based claim or scientific claim. It is pure theory, just something I noticed and a thought that I had. So maybe another reason to try native deodorants and test it out on yourself. Anyways, I'm tired of talking about armpit bacteria now, so let's move on. The second reason you could smell all the time is that you guys don't wash your balls enough. Seriously guys, wash your balls multiple times per day. The sweat that collects down there is no joke. So here's a pro tip. Wash your balls every time you wash your face, which should be about twice a day, once in the morning, once in the afternoon or evening. And then wash them again on the days that you shower. But most guys just wash their balls in the shower and then go about their day, which could be bad, especially if you sweat a lot during the day or you go a day without showering, right? So do yourself, do your partner or a potential partner a favor and consistently clean the boys every time you wash your face, and probably go after you clean your face, right? Face to balls, not balls to face. Okay, I'm sure there's a joke in there somewhere, but just write it in the comments. And then during the day, one other thing you can do is rock a ball powder, preferably a talcum-free one, right? There's no direct evidence. There might be, I haven't researched enough linking talcum to cancer, but I still don't want to risk putting that on my nuts. I would just go with Chassis. They're the ball powder I use. Their ingredients are safe and it will help keep you odor-free down there all day long. The third reason that you might smell is that your scalp smells. So similar to your armpits, your scalp also has bacteria that can cause odor. It also has sebum buildup, the oil, the dead skin, the dirt, the sweat. All this mixed together contributes to a smell that you don't want, right? There could be several reasons for your scalp smelling. One of them is your shampoo isn't strong enough, right? To get rid of all that gunk. Your shampoo should be strong enough to wash away all that odor, that dirt, that oil, that sweat, and the bacteria for at least 3 to 4 days, right? And if you have really greasy hair naturally, you might want to increase your washes from something from like 2 to 3 times a week to 4 times a week to keep your scalp cleansed. Another reason is if you wear a hat or a helmet in the hot sun all day, that is a recipe for sweat, oil, bacteria, all to thrive and to just get even worse, right? Now, if it's your job, then yeah, of course, you can't do much about that. Just add an extra day or 2 of cleansing and shampooing. But if you're wearing a hat for aesthetic purposes, for working out, or just going about your day, right, then I would just ditch the hat and rock a bun so that you can have that airflow just going through your scalp during the day and keeping that odor as minimized as possible. The 4th reason that you could smell is your mouth is too dry. Your mouth also has a microbiome. There seems to be a common thread with things that smell, and that's bacteria. So saliva helps keep your mouth clean, helps wash away odor-causing bacteria, and when your mouth is too dry, those bacteria can really thrive and cause bad breath. A simple fix, of course, might be you're dehydrated and you just need to drink more water. But your mouth can also be dry from a lot of other things. Medication you take, blood pressure medication, antihistamines, antidepressants. These things can all have like dry mouth side effects. And speaking of dry mouth, I need some water right now. But if you do take those meds and you experience side effects, then talk to your doctor about it, see what they can do. Or you could just be like a mouth breather, right? Pro tip, don't be a mouth breather. You'll have bad breath.
Mouth breather? Yeah, you know. A dumb person.
So some tips to fight this outside of good oral hygiene. Carry gum with you everywhere, right? It's not only has breath freshening ingredients, but the chewing will also stimulate the production of saliva. You could also reduce your alcohol intake because not only does alcohol dehydrate you, it can also mess up your microbiome in your mouth. It can kill that good bacteria, drying your mouth out, causing your breath to get worse. The last mistake that could be causing you to smell bad is a diet that can cause bad body odor, whether that be from sweat that comes out of your pores or foods that make you pass gas. So for example, beans and cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage are all super high in fiber. And too much fiber can lead to trouble digesting and passing gas. Of course, you need fiber, and those vegetables are packed with micronutrients. I'm not saying don't eat them, definitely do eat them, but just don't overdo it. I think it's something like 20 to 25 grams of fiber a day is a good number to strive for. But if you do overdo it, then you're gonna have to resort to the whoever smelt it, dealt it, self-defense.
First one who smells a fart gets a point. If you say who dealt it, double point. What the? Oh, God! Hey, no!
Right? Another example, foods that could make your BO come out of your sweat and your pores are things like garlic, onions, cumin, curry, a lot of those types of seasonings. They're double whammies because they can make your breath stink, and when digested can produce this sulfur-like compound that can come out, the odor can come out when you sweat. This doesn't mean avoid these foods. Again, there's tons of nutritious benefits. Garlic has a ton of benefits. Chicken curry is just delicious. So moderation will be key here. Awareness is half the battle, right? Once you know about this stuff, you can just moderate your intake, you can practice good hygiene, and you should be good. Anyways, guys, I'm tired of talking about being stinky. I think I'm gonna go take a shower. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.